kidding me?
Episode 255.
You've got to throw some cold water on this situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
System activate.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. It's a tech podcast. But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek, giving you the info you need to achieve mega nerd status.
Mega nerd status.
NetHeads.
You guys rock.
And now, here's Will and Trent.
No one listens to the radio. I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts. Podcasts are great. Radio's boring.
Yeah, that's right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of NetHeads. My name is Will.
And my name is Trent.
Oh, 1 second. Now say it.
And my name is Trent.
And we're coming at you live on a Sunday, old school NetHeads steez, as the kids used to say.
That you know what they did used to say, steez and steezy, and we're gonna keep it wheezy.
There you go. And you know, you can refer. They used to refer to their cars as a whip.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you have to ghost ride it.
I don't know what that means.
You ghost ride the whip, Will.
I still don't know what that means. I guess I should, but I don't. Anyway, welcome, everybody. If you want to take part in the program, you can one of many different ways. One of them is Twitter. Trent, tell them how they do that.
Oh my gosh. Be like our good friend Mike Driscoll and use the hashtag NetHeads. Join us, talk to us, tell us what we're doing wrong. Use the hashtag NetHeads on Twitter. It's that simple.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. There we go. Yeah, we love to hear. We love to hear everything that's going wrong, which always is at any time. Like, you know, Facebook Live didn't connect, but like we said, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Don't want to fall into
Yeah.
those podcasting tropes.
Yeah.
They got us on the ropes. Those podcasting tropes. Also,
Yeah. Sorry about the quality on this one, folks.
yeah, really sorry, but we promise it won't happen the next broadcast.
Won't happen like this again.
You can also give us a call if you want while we're live or anytime after the fact. And that's just NetHeads on air via Skype or 866-610-9455 or YakBet9020. There. Got them all out of the way. Trent,
Will.
we haven't talked yet, really. We've said hello. We've exchanged pleasantries, I think is the terminology.
Yeah.
But we haven't actually... I got to shorten one of these clips. We haven't actually discussed the most important matter at hand.
Yes, I know, and I need to hear all about it.
Have you seen the Spider-Man?
No.
What the ever? Hold on a second. So wait. First of all, if you want to take part on Twitter, like one person who essentially said that he watched you school somebody on Street Fighter. Mm-hmm. What is this about? Why don't you first address this, please?
Yeah. Yeah, on yesterday I went to a wrestling show in Salt Lake and had some time to burn, so I went to an arcade that was, in the area, in a mall, and there was a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 machine there. And I was like, "Oh, sweet, awesome!" I buy $10 worth of coins of tokens, thinking I've got 30 minutes to kill. I'll happy. That's happy for me. $10 spent, and instead I spent 30 minutes on one coin. Got the high score for the machine, beat a guy who tried fighting me a couple of times and made it to the end boss. Like it was like I stepped back into 1997, the glory days.
I can fully appreciate that because there used to be a time where I think it was Contra 2 was the next great one, and in particular for that game. I could play it end to end on 1 quarter at one time in my life.
Really?
Yeah, which wasn't easy to do, but it sure was a blast when you could do it, especially when you're like, I don't know, maybe you need to take your mind off something and you're like, I need a good 45 minutes to an hour to kill.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean there's something to be said about like leaving the house to play a video game. I don't know what it is. It's a whole different experience where it's you know what? It's the difference between like working out at a gym or working out at home. Do you know what I mean? Like you go there with a purpose and there's nothing else on your mind. You can leave it all behind and just focus on what you're doing.
Well, I'm kind of speaking of a Spider-Man, which somehow, so apparently you have the time to go to wrestling shows. You have the time to school people on was it Street Fighter 2 or 3?
Marvel versus Capcom
Oh,
2.
pardon me.
But I'm using a combination of Cable, of Juggernaut, and Zangief.
Oh, you always got to bring in Zangief. And
He's always got to be
Zangief,
there.
He is bad guy, but he is not bad
But
guy.
he is not bad guy.
He has epiphany. Which, by the way, one of my favorite scenes in Wreck-It
Oh,
Ralph is just
dude.
the Bad Anon or whatever the club
Yeah,
was.
Yeah, Bad Guys Anonymous.
I just love that one. I am bad, and that's good.
And that's good.
Anyway, by the way, can't wait for Wreck-It Ralph 2. I hope they. Is this the first sequel we're seeing from Disney Animation with Wreck-It Ralph 2?
Maybe actually, yeah.
I think it might be. Not sure. Interested
Well,
to see it.
Cars 3, I think,
That's
was
Pixar.
technically, or was it Planes? One of them was a Disney and not a Pixar. I can't remember which one.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no
Anywho.
idea.
Yeah.
Neither here nor there. So, you have time to do these things, but you still haven't seen Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Well, it's opening weekend, Will, and I'm just saying, like, if I would have gone, it probably would have been this morning at 10 o'clock. But I slept through the AM of and part of the PM of Sunday, so probably next Sunday.
There you go. Fair enough. Fair enough. I could understand that. Actually, that is one nice thing about living in the suburbs, I guess, because we definitely, if you, well, first of all, it's kind of a combination. It's the benefit of living in the suburbs as well as just being willing and able to accept the fact that a standard version of the movie, not a 3D, not an IMAX,
Right, yeah.
is completely acceptable. Thursday night, still able to get tickets. Emily, my eldest, went with me.
Oh,
and
yes,
we got-
dude.
we got to the only bad thing I can say from the entire experience was nobody bothered to do a temperature check in the theater because it got bald head having to be wiped off hot.
See, and most theaters is the exact opposite, right? Like, it's so goddamn cold that people are taking blankets in.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I would have expected. But and here's,
Totally.
and here's something to tell you how good the movie is, Trent. I didn't budge. Normally,
Really?
I might get up and kvetch to somebody, grab a random guy running back from busting a theater, and be like, "Dude, the temperature in here out of control. You gotta fix it."
Yeah, you
Right?
gotta, or we can't watch this.
And instead, I'm just like, "Well, can I text somebody? No, screw it then. I'm done because I'm
Yeah,
not moving."
Is there a complaint line I can
Yeah.
text?
Something.
Or you get your phone out long enough, someone will come and tell you to turn it off, and you'd be like, "Finally, Jesus, it's so hot in here." The usher comes down. He's like, "Hey, sir, we're gonna have to." "Oh no, please, before you start." "Yes, I'll put my phone away. Turn on the goddamn AC."
Yeah, exactly. Crank it up. Crank it up. People are there. We go. Hopefully.
So was it a packed house then?
Yeah, that was the thing I wasn't expecting. Usually it isn't for the standard one. Or we get there early enough, but we didn't really we got there like 15 minutes before the movie started. So we were not in our prime seats, which are somewhere in the back row.
Okay.
Instead, we were like mid-theater to the side. Didn't give two shit. Didn't even blink at it. I was just I was mesmerized from the first moment, and I got to tell you, Trent, it is by far for me the best Spider-Man movie that has ever been produced.
Dude, I am so pretty much the majority of everyone in my Twitter feed are just comic book creators, and without a doubt, everyone is saying the best thing Marvel has put out so far, and that's a high standard.
I gotta say, this may be my favorite Marvel film, but then again, when you consider Spider-Man, you have to consider lots of things. Like one of them, you have to consider the fact that First of all, there's an emotional connection because my introduction to
Sure.
Spider-Man
Yep.
was from my early childhood watching The Electric Company.
Oh,
Right?
Yeah.
You know, my Spider-Man was the one that nobody knows who you are, which the moment I picked up a comic book, I'm like, okay, well, everybody reading knows who he is, but whatever.
Right.
So, you know, I have that first connection. And then the other thing that's cool about the character is the part that Stan Lee even said is that, you know, it could be anyone behind the mask, so you as the reader could be Peter Parker, right?
Totally. Yes. And for me, Spider-Man, and that's why I'm so happy that they went back to a younger version, because Spider-Man, let me rephrase that. Peter Parker needs Spider-Man so that he can be confident. He can never be confident as Peter Parker, right? He's always going to be kind of dorky and kind of late to everything and can't quite figure it out with the ladies or this, that, and the other. But the second he puts on this mask, he's able to be someone else. And I think that's the thing that we all just sometimes need to put on the mask so that we can be someone else. And that's the relatable part.
Yeah, exactly. And not to mention, it was also just great that there was a character that was just young, so that we could really, you know, no, it's not Tony Stark or Captain America
Yes.
or the Fantastic Four.
Right. Yeah.
So
I mean, he's still larger than life, but it makes so much more sense where like even the quips that come from Spider-Man come from because it's almost just like a dumb kid being excited about stuff. You know, it's not
and
100% snark.
and I got to tell you, that's what this movie captures the most that I love. It is the pure teen angst of it all, while still, you know, being a kid. So he's
Yes.
this you know, kid who and the thing that makes him great, the thing that gets noticed is the fact that he is Spider-Man.
Yes.
But other than that, you know, he doesn't exactly have everything going for him. So, you know, it's in the writing, I got to tell you, there's even a point in the story that I should have seen coming, and I just plain didn't. And it is
because you were so wrapped up into everything, or
well, yeah, exactly. I guess that's the best way to put it. I was so wrapped up into everything that I never once like even thought about where this was going or how this
Yeah.
connects.
you were just enjoying it.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it was. I was just enjoying it from beginning to end, and I was lapping up every little bit of it. And Tom Holland is great. He really nails the character.
Good.
You feel his pain. And the other beautiful thing about this is it's this story about a hero, but really this story is about him actually, I guess in a way, it's not a backstory, mind you,
Right.
but it's him becoming that hero. It's
Right.
First, it's that level, because really it's about him finding out how to be a hero, I guess is the best way to put it. Because, you know, it's like for most of the movie, his main focus is trying to do something great so he can become part of the Avengers.
Yeah.
And then as the movie evolves, it transitions from that into, you know, him just realizing I've got to do the right thing here.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful. But I got to tell you, and this I think is the nerdiest thing to even look for.
Okay.
Because I was very interested to see which version of the Marvel Studios logo would be at the beginning of this, since it's the joint venture with Sony.
Yeah,
You
that's
know-
right. Because with the last Guardians, we saw that it's no longer the page flip one either, which was my favorite.
Yeah, instead it's kind of this mashup of the characters,
Yeah.
like going through action spots, and then it transforms into the word Marvel and then Studios to the right. But if
Yeah.
you watch like Logan or any of the other quote unquote Marvel movies that are produced by other studios,
Yeah.
they just get a Deadpool, for example, as well. They get a very watered down the page flip one,
Yep.
not as cool and not as sexy.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, it is the new pimped out action one, but even better. You remember a few weeks ago, we got teased by Michael Giacchino, or however you pronounce his name, conducting and pulling in the 1960s theme
Yes.
song.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is what played on the logo, and I'm getting goosebumps again because I'm just
Oh.
like, oh, this feels so right. Finally, this truly is homecoming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's back into the fold.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so nice to see him as part of this universe. And I got to tell you, man, it is a very well written, very well structured story. it's fantastic, and most of all, it's a young story. You know, it's exact. Trent, you're not going to be disappointed, but I'm telling you right now, you should be kicking your own ass for not seeing it yet.
Dude, I just googled it really quickly, and I'm listening to it with like someone has the footage with the Marvel thing, and they're doing the whole orchestra thing with oh god, I've got goosebumps,
See?
man. This is amazing.
It really is. It just, and that's all I'm going to say about it. I don't want to discuss any spoilers, but
Well, okay, but then okay, has your daughter? Let's look at it from her perspective, right? Has she seen any of the other Spider-Mans?
no, she hasn't. But she said she really liked this movie so much so she wants to see it again.
See, that is so perfect. I think that is the tell, right? If you can get both ends of like the fan spectrum ages to have a first time experience that is so good that they can be like they can enjoy it that much, man. That makes me really really happy.
Yeah, me too. Because it's and this is the other key. And if you guys haven't listened to the latest or watched the latest Fat Man on Batman video or listened to the podcast, they bring up a very good point in the fact that this one it will connect with the youths. And that's important because that's how you get them Titanic dollars, because it's not from the teens that wanted to go see it for Leonardo DiCaprio.
No.
It's for the teens that went back again and again to see it.
Dude, I think because that was me, right? That was I think I was in high school, maybe freshman year or whatever. I probably saw it 5 times in the theater.
Titanic?
Yeah, and going back now, oh, you couldn't pay me to watch it.
No, definitely not. But at the time, it was just like, oh. You know, now you watch it and you're just like, why do they keep saying each other's names so many damn times?
Yeah, but I was a sucker for. Well, I think I might have been more of a sucker of trying to impress the girl that I was taking to it.
There
but
you
whatever.
go. There you
Whatever.
are. Oh, she wants to go see Dad. Dad, can I do any extra chores?
Yeah.
Becky wants to go see Titanic again.
Yep.
And the whole time
And he's like, sure she does. My son's a queer. God damn it.
That's not politically correct, but I like it. You know, but I would and I should because, you know, again, one time I wasn't watching the World Series and my dad called me a commie, so, you know, whatever. Neither here nor there. Miss you, Dad.
Well,
Love you.
I guess he's not unright.
No. It's not the stupidest thing I've done. Anyway, but I don't want to get into any spoilers about it. Homecoming was just amazing. I can't wait to see it again. Luckily, Wonder Woman is still in theaters. I've got to take my wife to see that because she still wants to see it. And then
likewise, man.
Hopefully after that, we can go see the Spider-Man together. Emily wants to see it again, so I guess maybe we'll see if Blair can stay with Grandma or something.
Yeah, family night out.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That'd be awesome.
And definitely it's going to have rewatchability. And I got to tell you, this Holland kid is just charming as all get out.
Oh, well, and we only saw a little bit of his charisma in Civil War, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it left it I don't know, a flavor in my mouth, wanting more. You know, like I want to see this kid in his element. You know, in Brooklyn. You know, that's what I want to see now.
Like throwing the sign back at the winner soldier. Hey, buddy, you dropped this.
Now I'm gonna say from coming off of the Civil War, it was a little weird for me to be sexually attracted to Aunt May.
Given Marissa Tomei's history and past and how much she's been in our lives, I don't think so, Trent. I think it's okay.
But she looks great, man. She is a beautiful woman. And
okay, George.
Gosh,
all right, Costanza, calm down.
Oh, I love that episode so much.
Turns out George
she likes bold guys.
Who knew?
She likes bold.
Who knew? And she does a pretty good job in the parts that she's in this one. You'll enjoy that too. And I got to tell you, man, the other thing too that this movie did for me, and this is highest praise because I feel that the original Iron Man in itself was very well written, and considering it's what truly opened up the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's still one of my favorites. And it's rewatchable is all sin. But this thing, and I'm not saying this because Stark was in it, but this thing really did have moments. And really even like the overall flavor, it really had a very very Iron Man feel to it in a way, but in a good way.
Because of Tony Stark's involvement in the
No,
story,
no,
or
not at all. Just the way that it's structured, and like I said, it's all these other movies, because Captain America pretty much he gets the super soldier serum, and then he's just ready to go be a hero, right?
yeah, because he was the hero, but didn't have he was the hero first, and then like he had the internal makings of a hero before he became the physical version of the hero.
Right. Thor was always Thor.
Right.
We got Black Widow and Hawkeye late in the game.
Yeah, but still don't have their origins. Marvel, trust me, you would sell the crap out of that film.
Yeah, and Stark, but Iron Man was really about a guy.
Yeah,
finding his way to be a hero, and
totally.
in many ways, I feel that this movie was the exact same thing because he already has the abilities, and we know he's been doing this stuff, but he's just been doing it for whatever his reasons were, which they don't get into. Thankfully, it was so.
Yeah,
if you don't know how Spider-Man became Spider-Man and Uncle Ben and all that, come on now, right? But Marvel.
I would argue it is an origin story, not unlike Batman's, that is as knowable, if not more so, because of its international stretch, more knowable than say like Christ's origin. Do you know what I mean? Because that one's so specific to region and religion, where these stories have gone worldwide, independent of religion, independent of culture, to where like these are our modern day gods. You know what I mean? And everyone knows these stories, so there's no point in rehashing it.
Yeah, definitely. There wasn't. And there was no place in it. Although I will say, what is with the new trend that all superhero movies have to clock in at 2 hours and 14 minutes? I mean, Guardians, 2 hours and 14 minutes. Wonder Woman, 2 hours, 14 minutes. Batman v Superman, 2 hours, 14 minutes. What?
Well, and it's funny. It's funny too, because like it could be an hour and 45 minutes, and we would all pay the same. Do you know what I mean? Like they could make less.
Yeah.
Overall spending less money and to make a shorter film, but I mean, it's not something to complain about, I suppose. It's bang for your buck.
You got to learn to ration your drink. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
It's like,
yes.
That's the only benefit of coming to a movie theater kind of late now, is because you're not sitting there sucking down half of a big old gut buster of soda
before it even starts.
Yeah. So, and that's, believe me, you got to be strategic in movies now, especially with that length. And I got to tell you too, Trent, here's another thing that speaks to how well the writing was on this one and the conceptualization. There is literally a moment in this movie, there is a reveal where the entire audience gasps. Yes. It'll make your nipples hard. I'm telling you this right now.
That's the magic of going to the movies, right? You're having a shared experience where everyone has bought into this fantasy. And when you have those parts, same thing like when everyone laughs or when everyone, does something, it's this weird personal yet social experience of fantasy, of everyone buying in and like escapism all at the same time. It's a really cool thing about the movies that is so unique.
Yeah, definitely. That whole zeitgeist thing that we always come back to, right?
Yeah.
So let's get off of Spider-Man now, since you haven't seen it yet. Obviously, we will just be rehashing it next weekend anyway.
Right.
And we've already buried it for like 20 minutes. But one thing I always like to talk about too, for some reason, are all of the previews, the trailers that happen before the movie. And this one, I feel, right before Spider-Man, was a very interesting and weird blend.
Okay.
Because they let off with Black Panther, which makes perfect sense.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
Give me some Wakanda. The next movie coming out, makes sense to tag that one on there. Then it went into Pitch Perfect 3.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure, maybe they were hoping people were there. Oh, by the way, I got to tell you, too, in the movie theater, 2 people dressed as Spider-Man and 1 Spider-Gwen.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was kind of nice.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I got to say, Spider-Gwen has a great costume. The only thing is, I'm not sure I would wear it to a movie theater because it's a very tight costume. Well, I mean, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't dress as Spider-Gwen. But.
Yeah. For you to pull it off, it would be sad guy cosplaying as Spider-Gwen.
Did you ever read the run in Amazing Spider-Man where there was a teenager that first idolized Doc Ock and made his own arms, and then later, because Spider-Man set him on the straight and narrow, wanted to be like the Spider Kid?
Yes, I do remember that
And
actually.
you remember he was a bit husky, right? That would be
Yep,
me in a
yep, he
Spider-Man
was.
costume.
He was, yeah.
Anyway, neither here nor there. So Pitch Perfect, that kind of threw me. And then they went into War for the Planet of the Apes, which still looks great. Can't wait. But here's the one I hadn't seen yet, Trent, and I got to tell you, it has changed my opinion about the movie. And that is The Dark Tower.
Oh, it was on. They had that on there.
They did. And I have to tell you, I will see this if for no reason alone because of the way that they depict a gunslinger. Because remember, that's the big thing.
Oh, yes,
The fact-
especially in that first book, man.
Yeah, and you know, the gunslinger is the gunslinger, but in the world of the Dark Tower, the gunslingers are, I mean, if you want to equate them to anything, they are kind of like the equivalent of the Jedi, if you will. There's a certain Taoistic embodiment about everything. And hearing Idris Elba and seeing him in action with this, you know, I don't shoot with my mind. I don't shoot with my hand. I shoot with my eye. I don't.
My mind's eye.
My mind's eye. I don't shoot with
Yeah.
my brain. I shoot with my heart.
Heart.
Right?
Yeah.
And hearing all these deliveries were great, but also just seeing it in action and right down to the like reloading his gun, like the bullets are just flying from his fingers one after the other. And the action, I mean, seriously, I will go see it just to see the gunslinger action alone. I don't care about the rest of the damn story.
Yeah. Yeah.
It could blow goats. I don't care. If you give me every 20 minutes him gunslinging like a madman, I'm in.
Yeah. Well, and that's a part of the books that are so great too, is because they talk about how precise he is in every movement. It's like Jeet Kune Do, you know, like Bruce Lee. Like everything he does is perfectly calculated to be the most effective killing machine possible. You know what I mean? Like and to hear that, even the detail of like able to quickly reload a revolver, which if anyone has ever reloaded a revolver, it is not something that is normally very fast.
Trent, it doesn't look like he's loading the bullets. It looks like they're just pouring from his hand into the chamber like water. Right?
That's awesome, dude. That is so cool.
Yeah, so that one really changed. It's all I know about it. I don't know anything else, and I don't care about knowing anything else. That was all I needed.
Oh man.
Yeah, and I think there was one more. Justice League. But you know, we've all seen.
Oh
that.
sure. Yeah.
You know, and who knows how that's gonna go? So fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But you know, if Wonder Woman is any indication of the tenor, I think we'll be okay based on what I've heard anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, those were the trailers that were ahead of time.
Oh,
but
dude.
I got to tell you, I've got high hope. Like literally, I'm saying, and if anybody out there is listening, which they're not, but if anybody out there is listening that is involved in this movie, and you have to go back and do a few reshoots and get some extra effects footage, that's fine. I'm just telling you right now, every 20 minutes he's got to be gunslinging.
Oh, for
And that's
sure,
it.
dude. For sure. I mean, don't fall in like you could say the same thing about Iron Fist, right? How to have made that better? Every 20 minutes he needs to be doing kung fu.
Yeah, that would and if they had a consistent narrative for the character.
Well, yeah.
I don't know how you could be so focused that you could defeat this dragon to get the Iron Fist, but then be so undisciplined when you get a little upset.
Yeah.
You
Or have the audience care about a father of whom we've never really seen any interaction to know why he's such a great dad.
Or care about a character at all, because, you know, whatever. Why do we care about Danny Rand?
Yep.
Sorry, we're
So
rehashing
true.
the past. Neither here nor there. I guess apparently the term I'm going to keep repeating is neither here nor there.
It is neither here nor there,
So
but everywhere.
So let's just get caught up a little bit on you, Trent, as well. Yesterday was another local wrestling event.
Yeah, it was Scars and Stripes. Had a good turnout. A lot of fun. Got some great chants going on. There's this one character at the last month's show. He came out as a Mormon missionary,
Oh my!
and it was a mixed gender match, and so he went up to all the female performers and was shaming them for wearing revealing clothing.
Oh my!
And so he came back this time as the same character, and he was cutting a promo, and he was saying, "There's only one man I represent," and we were able to get the whole crowd to start chanting, "Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ."
Well, at least that's not blasphemous.
No,
You know.
it was a good time. It was a blast, man. It was so much fun. And then on top of it, maybe even the highlight before that was me running wild on the video arcade. So it was a great weekend.
Oh man, I can't even imagine trying to. It would be very interesting to see though if how much of that muscle memory still exists. I'd imagine it's
Yeah.
long been gone the way of other dead brain cells. But playing
Well,
like Contra 2, it would be interesting to
yeah. Well, and for me at least, I have that game on the Xbox. It's been ported for the Xbox 360. And it's the same everything on it. And I've got the arcade stick at home. So it was a little different as far as the Sawa. It was kind of not as good as mine at home, but I was still able to do it all. But there's no AC in this arcade.
see. Holy moly!
And right now we're pushing about 106.
Oh wow, us too.
So the place is just balls hot. I'm sweating already. And then the guy that comes up and is like, he watched me watches me play a couple of rounds, and then his buddy's like, "Oh, this is gonna be good." He's like, "Mind if I jump in?" I'm like, "Let's go for it, dude." And it's weird because like playing online is one thing. You never see the dude, you never hear him. You're talking shit to yourself, and then to have the person right there next to you, it is a weird experience, man.
Well, especially if you're just straight up spanking the guy, because it's
Yeah.
like, what do you do after you just like humiliate and put them down? Do you even look? Do you say sorry? I mean,
No,
do
I
you-
just good. I did a good match fist bump, and then I look over, and I'm a sweaty dude, and this guy is completely soaked. White T-shirt is completely see through at this point, just water dripping down his face. Want to go again? Yeah. Puts his quarter in,
he's like, I gotta buy some. I'm gonna buy 25 cents worth of redemption here.
and then after the second beating, he quit.
He's like, screw this.
He quit and probably went to the Cold Stone to just fog up the the display to cool down
Went into the 7-Eleven and just walked into the back.
to the cooler.
Yeah. And instantly just absorbs it all.
Oh yeah.
Trent, also to a little bit of housekeeping,
Yeah.
literally and figuratively. Got to tell you that I did attempt to turn my pool today into the world's largest coldies. Put
Nice.
4 pounds of vitamin C into it, and I'll be
Yeah.
damned.
Oldies.
Stains-
That's what we were trying to think of last week.
Yeah, and sure enough, the stains have started to fade. It's crazy.
Nice. That is insane, dude.
Is that a freeze pack on your shoulder?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you have a
It-
shoulder injury, or is it just like
no,
trying to get cool?
It goes under my armpit sometimes, then I switch over to my other armpit sometimes, then it goes to my crotch, then just other areas. Keep things cool.
I completely understand. If I didn't have the ceiling fan, I would be dying right
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
especially with the weather we've got. So anyway, so that's done. Also, I got to say that I went through this thing where I found for $16. One of the biggest things that bums me out about having this modified above ground pool that's partially sunken in the ground is that I don't have any illumination. I don't really have a light. And so I found this thing. It's for an Intex pool, actually. And the great thing about it is it hooks up to your return where the water is coming through, and it has its own little hydroelectric system. So the water flowing through powers it, and it's ultra bright LEDs, so it can light up your
Ooh.
pool.
Yeah.
But naturally, because it's for an Intex, nothing works correctly.
Right.
And yesterday I had an epiphany while trying to troubleshoot this thing, and I just happened to find the right compression joint that fitted on one end, and it was a slip for 1.5 inches on the other. And I'm
Okay.
trying to figure out, but I can't quite make the connection with the outlet, with the return. And then I realized something. Didn't I make a white trash water effect that came out of an 1.5 inch pipe? And I'm like, yeah, I did. So I just went ahead and cut off that attachment.
The attachment.
And then I just added another elbow, went down into the water, another elbow, put that sucker on there. Last night, my pool was glowing blue finally,
Dude,
Trent.
because here's the thing, man. I think a pool at night would be awesome, but if I can't see what's in the water, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Because the last thing I want to do
way,
is,
dude.
Jaws could be in there.
or even just like a garden snake or so, like hell no, dude. Water is scary.
A
And if you
floating
can't
patch
see
of
it,
algae, you don't know what's in there.
I don't know. I have no
Exactly.
idea. A dead squirrel fell in? I don't know.
I know it could be anything. So, and I have to tell you too, the reason why I've been so adamant about this is because I do want to start utilizing the pool right before bed, only because one of the last times I was in there with the kids, I actually tried doing some laps, and I forgot just how hard swimming is. That is
Swimming is so hard.
it is some good exercise. So I wanted to
Yeah.
get that rolling again, right?
Yeah,
I
totally.
got the goggles, but the last thing I want to do is crack my skull into the wall of this thing because it's still metal, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got the light hooked up, and I'm happy
Well,
about that.
and if you think filtering out, just the regular hard water is difficult, try filtering out your blood.
Yeah, that's and we're carbon based, so that'll just
Yeah.
cause more stains,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
It's the other thing too that I did get that I'm amazed at how much it just changes things. It just a cheap string of lights from Costco. Where
Yeah.
it's more like it's a hanging rope and it's like rustic bulbs on it. I
Oh,
strung
yeah, I
those
like
around my
those.
back patio, and it's
Yeah.
just like the joint looks classy now.
Yeah, what are they like Edison bulbs, I think they're called.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, those are awesome.
But the other benefit is that it casts enough light that it also kind of goes out to the pool area. So
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Dances off the water a little bit. Yeah.
It's exactly what I want, man. Eventually, I'm gonna get a good backyard. Eventually.
Hey, you know what? Rome, it wasn't built in a day.
Yeah, it's been 5 years though, dude.
Oh, it may have been built in 5 years.
Probably, at least parts of it. Well, and I've got parts built, but I just need to. There are 2 areas to finish, and then I'm kind of finally done. So
Yeah.
and it's just been a progressive thing. I do have to admit though that I did get the white trash glance from my wife again because one of the things that's a bummer about a pool is in order to keep it good and clean and reduce your chemical use and to help keep it like really warm and to extend your swimming season, you want to get one of those solar bubble covers, right?
Yes.
But the drawback is taking them on and off, especially for an 18 by 33 pool, is a big
Yeah.
pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So
Especially if you're doing it by yourself.
yeah, so last year I got this reel system. So it's basically a pole that attaches to it, and then you can just wind it up. Well, naturally that fell apart and cost a lot of money. And today, right after the show, I'm going to Lowe's because I'm literally going to build the exact same thing out of PVC pipe, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Because it's just one piece of pipe. And then I got so that's 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to have a 1-inch piece that I'm going to cut in half, so that way I can make the top part of clips to attach to the 1/2-inch piece. You cut the pool cover in half, and then it's really easy just to wind it up and take it off yourself. But I did get a glance, so I'm hoping to God that this works and it works right the first time and it works forever. Because if not, I'm never going to be allowed to do anything of my own volition again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Because I already got burned on the concrete. I already got burnt, but I will say that I probably will get credit for a slatted bench that I want to build out there for the pool as well, the pool area, which is amazingly simple and easy to do. Thank goodness.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyway, that's all I've got in regards to that stuff. Do you have anything from the tech world or anything you specifically wanted to talk about today, Trent?
Not that I can think of. I do know I was pretty sure that my Nintendo 2DS XL was supposed to show up last week, but it's now been pushed back to August. So I'm glad I pre-ordered that. Because Nintendo is notorious for not being able to fulfill the supply for the demand of their hardware.
Now, what is this? What is this? The Nintendo what do you what now?
Yeah, so right now, the flagship of the Nintendo handhelds, aside from the Switch, obviously, is the 3DS, and the 2DS XL is basically just a 3DS, but doesn't have the gimmick of a 3D screen, right? So it plays all the same games, just not in 3D, and it's like $100 cheaper. And they just announced it it was a while ago, maybe back in March. I pre-ordered it, and I'm really excited for it because honestly, it is a lot. Like, I love passively watching TV and playing video games. It's not always the easiest thing to set up your computer there and then have your computer while your TV's on or whatever. So this way I can just sit and passively watch TV and play a handheld video game.
I fully support this.
Absolutely.
matter
And
of
my boss has one at work, so we'll be able to like play each other. And And Nintendo's done a really good job of like if you have same games and if you're near someone who has a DS, then you can like get extra points or extra add-ons just by being in proximity to people who have other things too. So that
Oh,
part's kind
wow.
of cool too. Yeah.
It's interesting the way Nintendo has kind of, in some ways, branched off into this boutique business with the handheld systems and now these custom retro mini systems that they're doing limited runs on.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting strategy because I don't know, I haven't really heard positive or good feedback on the Switch in general.
Yeah, I've played with a few of my friends, and everything that I've played has been a blast. The game Arms, watch the trailer for it. Looks ridiculously fun. Conan, on TBS that's his thing now, is where he gets together with a celebrity and they play this video game Arms, and it's essentially a like a Rock'em Sock'em video game, but it's across huge long distances. So the arms that you have of your characters are like these spring-loaded shoot all the way across the arena arms, and then you can get different arms that do like one's a faster one or one's a boomerang one or all these different things. And that game has been had crazy reviews. I haven't played it yet, but if I got a Switch, it would probably just be for that game alone. It's amazing.
And in the meantime, I've still got an Xbox 360 now that's just literally sitting to my right doing nothing.
Just collecting dust,
Pretty
holding
much.
papers down.
But that's the thing. I just in general don't have time to play video games because I'm either trying to ruin stuff in the backyard or do things around the house or one of any other projects that instantly comes up and has to be done in a heartbeat. So
Yeah.
and I also have a toddler, so really that's one of those things. It's like unless they're napping, you feel guilty doing anything when you're not spending time with your kid. You know what I mean?
No, I have no clue.
Okay, well,
Thank-
let me put it this way, Trent. It's kind of like when you're at work and you really wish you were at home being able to play a video game.
Oh yeah,
See, that's it.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Oh, hey, by the way, we're getting a phone call. I'm sure it'll never work, but let's see. Mike, yeah, you're live with us, Will and Trent. How are you?
Good evening, gentlemen.
I hope so. How is yours going?
Basically sweating my ass off as much as you guys.
Oh,
I'm feeling you, man.
I totally feel you. We're in this is I think today is actually the first day we aren't breaking into the hundreds, and I'm very thankful for that. But still, it's hotter than balls outside.
Oh,
True
I'm
that.
not as bad as you guys, but I definitely have humidity, and I don't do well.
Ooh, yeah. See, I'm lucky. I've got that dry heat.
Oh, you
What
do?
you think about-
Oh, yeah.
We're supposed to have the dry heat here, but it.
Oh no, yeah. I mean,
I think-
this is a desert.
I think the relative humidity is like 40 something outside.
And where's the ice pack on you, Trent, right now?
Yeah. Right now it's back on my left shoulder. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like it's been on my heart, it's been on my chest, it's been in my crotch. It's all over. It's feeling good all over my face, neck, and chest, so to speak.
You just had to go there with the face, neck, and chest thing, didn't you?
For old time's sake.
Somebody had to.
What's going on here?
So Mike, what's on your mind, sir? Did you see the Spider-Man?
I didn't get to see Spider-Man yet.
What the fuck is with you people?
I've got a 4-year-old, just like
Oh,
you.
fair enough. And let me tell you something too. In some ways, it's kind of a point of contention that I get that I'm taking my eldest to see these things, whereas my wife stays home with the youngest. And admittedly, it's obviously very selfish of me to go. But I mean, I have been much in the same way that the first Tobey Maguire movie came out. I had been waiting for a Spider-Man film
Yeah.
for the longest time. Then we got what we did, but then we saw what Marvel was doing, at which point then, like literally, I'll admit, in Civil War, when the moment it just showed Queens, we hadn't even seen Spider-Man or anything yet. I almost wept, okay? So I had been waiting for this movie. So come hell or high water, I was going to see it Thursday night somehow, one way or another. And now I need to buy my wife some jewelry, I think.
Yeah, when Tobey Maguire came out of his Spider-Man, yeah, I was thrilled because I'm a huge Spider-Man fanatic.
Yep.
Yeah, I just love the character ever since I was a little kid, and it's grown on me since I'm an adult, and now I have my kid, and he's a comics fanatic, loves Batman, Spider-Man, all those characters. And when that movie came out with Tobey Maguire, I was, oh my God, Spider-Man's gonna be on the screen. We're gonna see the webs and stuff like that. And then as I kind of actually grew up, and I'm like, oh man, that movie was not the greatest,
Yeah.
And then it was just, I mean, take away the third one. I mean, everyone hates the third one.
Didn't
we
happen.
don't need to say it didn't happen.
But I gotta say that the second one with Doc
Oh,
Ock,
man.
that
Yes.
one, like even Emily, and that's kind of how I guess I shouldn't say that she didn't see any of those movies, because when she was much younger, she did like half her age or even less than that. Spider-Man 2 was one of the movies that we would watch. I would just have to selectively skip a chapter the minute Doc Ock was going in the operating room and they were trying to take off his arms.
Oh yeah,
Because that part
Oh,
got
yeah. Okay.
brutal.
that's
So-
intense. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was able to, but still, so we did see that. So she does have some. I'm sure she doesn't even remember seeing them, but like that one of the movies was really good. But that was too, again, the continuation of the theme that seemed to be going on in those Spider-Man movies, which is, okay, at this point, who doesn't know Peter Parker is Spider-Man? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas with this one, thankfully, that is a non-issue, and that's the way it should be, right? Nobody should know who Spider-Man is, pretty much.
Right.
Well, when you're beaten over the head with it, movie after movie, you're like, we get it. We're tired. Sing me another song, write another script. It's just, it's canon now. It's
Yeah.
just everybody knows it. When I was growing up, I didn't know too much about Star Wars, but I knew the whole story. I knew the whole mythos because I grew up with it. And kids now are growing up with Spider-Man, and they already know through through birth, they know the origin stories.
Totally.
So yeah, we don't need it.
Yeah, and I have to say too that another thing that I appreciated in this movie is that for fans of the comics, they did do little Easter eggs. This isn't very spoilery, but there is a depiction of Shocker in this movie, and
Ooh.
actually, technically speaking, two. And I'm not meaning this. And in it, there's one scene, where he comes back to the hideout, and I like this. It was a nice touch because he was wearing a jacket, and it was brown here, and then it was like it had yellow mustard down sleeve, so it still had a crisscross pattern. So
yeah,
it was very
the quilted style. going down.
So it was very emotive of the costume that we're used to. So that was kind of neat that they had that little tidbit in there. And they have little nods like this, so much so that I gotta say, there is one thing that you will see in this movie that will make you wonder. Well, two things actually that will make you wonder how far off is Miles Morales from us in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just say that, and I'll leave it at that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, little things here and there. Also, I gotta say, Donald Glover's character is just an absolute revelation. It is just, it's a breath of fresh air, and he is so good in this movie.
Yeah, I've heard things.
You should have, because darn good, man, darn good. Well, I'm sorry to hear you haven't seen it yet, Mike, but it sounds like it's definitely on your radar.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's just the fact of getting time. The whole story. You were just saying it before.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
have a toddler. They have they're your priorities. A movie can wait.
Yeah,
Totally.
Well, I mean, I was there.
Well, maybe a movie can't wait. I don't know.
Well, it should have waited. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, but your wife loves you. Probably.
Yeah.
I guess. I guess. I mean, I know she does love me, but yeah, that was a.
And you weren't going by yourself. You took your other daughter. So
Yeah.
it's
That's true.
tit for
That's a
tat.
win.
That's
Yeah,
kind
that's a
kind of
win.
a scapegoat, though. Really. I mean, in some ways, it's like trying to justify bad behavior.
She's the means to the end.
Pretty much, you know. As my wife put it, you can't just wait one day. I'm like, I didn't ask her to go. I just said you didn't want to go tonight. That's all. Which, by the way, it's just like, just keep digging yourself into a deeper hole.
Deeper and deeper.
Just keep. And she listens to these too. So at this point, I know she's somewhere going, that's right, asshole. So
Yeah, she's like, laugh it up, Chuckles.
there you go, funny man.
Behind every great man, there's a woman behind it. There's this woman behind him rolling her eyes.
Pretty much. And
I've never heard that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, and she pretty much has to all the time. Anyway, Mike, thanks for your call, man. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for letting me be on.
Appreciate it. Hope we hear from you again in the future, sir.
Will do.
Cheers.
Good night.
Ciao.
One glove. There we go.
And if it was that Mike Driscoll, that's CG Guy 79.
That is correct. The one
Okay.
who openly encouraged me that if I was going to try and do a CG NetHeads logo, go ahead and give it a shot. And then, he was very encouraging. I tried, but I failed miserably. Lee Velasquez,
And that's okay.
Or ZDigital13 on Twitter is asking, any Doctor Who update? But didn't we discuss it last week?
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
I
Of
will
the
say-
season finale.
Yeah, I will say I've rewatched my favorite episodes of the season, and I still stand by the fact it's Peter Capaldi's best performance. But I don't think we need to really rehash that. Pretty much stated my opinion, and it's good.
But just to augment that, the people that I'm following on Twitter, again, mostly comic book creators, all had the same thing to say, though, that it was a beautiful end cap to a performance, to all of his performances, and possibly the best performance of his run.
I would definitely have to agree. I would definitely say that, and it certainly is making me look forward to the Christmas episode. I'm still amazed we don't know who the next Doctor is yet. I feel like we knew Capaldi was going to be. Yeah, we did. It was like April or something ridiculous.
Yeah, it was way in advance. Yeah, because I was like, who is this guy?
Well, and that kind of makes me wonder if they are possibly going in the direction of a woman. Are they really just going to kind of bury the lead on this?
Yeah.
At least it feels that way they are.
They could, absolutely.
Simon Fisher 7 on Twitter says Miles Morales is going to be quite a few films away so that he can be brought in as Peter's kid Spider-Man. Well, I don't know about that.
Interesting.
I don't know about that. Also, just to kind of wrap up the comic book talk, too, we all know one of my favorite shows on television is CW's The Flash. And I think this past week, the Writers' Room tweeted something about Back to Work, maybe past 2 weeks, and it turns out that the series premiere, the season premiere, is titled The Flash Reborn. So whatever that's going to mean.
Whoa! So because there is a very famous comic book run called Flash Reborn,
and this is the reason why I bring it up, Trent, because I know you are the font of knowledge in the DC world. And I at least was knowledgeable about Flashpoint, so it was very exciting to find out around this time last year that is indeed what was going to be the title. But in regards to this, so what was Flash Reborn? What was that story?
Actually, it was called Rebirth.
Never mind.
But I mean that's got to be a nod to it at least, though. But it was written by arguably the best DC architect of the modern era, who is Jeff Johns. So that wouldn't surprise me.
Man, Jeff Johns just kind of came in and tore everything up, didn't he?
Totally, dude. Well, and he's the perfect product of someone who grew up a fan and was able to go in and take all that love that he had as a fan and put it into awesome stories.
Oh, hey, look at this. That CG Guy 79 says, do you mind if I give it a shot then? No charge. Hell yeah. Yeah, you want to try a NetHeads? You want to give us a 3D animated NetHeads logo to run at the beginning of the video of a podcast? That sounds confusing. Yeah, we would never turn that down. At least I wouldn't. Would you, Trent?
No way.
Yeah, because you know what? The price is right, sir. That's our favorite kind of stuff. Like what they say. You know what the best kind of beer is, right, Trent?
The one I'm drinking.
Well, or free beer.
Yeah.
Says the guy who doesn't drink any beer. I guess that's about it for this week, guys. I really don't have anything else to talk about. I got my mind on PVC and cutting my pool cover in half, and
you got your mind on your PVC and your PVC on your mind.
I do. I really, really do. Well, Well, I'm very interested to see how long it takes, too, because, like, one guy off of this, because, it's all about the do-it-yourself stuff, right? And
Totally.
I can't remember. Let's see. What is the name of it? It's one of those websites where they offer a lot of DIY stuff. I think it's Instructables.
Okay.
Is the one that I'm following. Yeah, it's an Instructables. And one guy said that if he had had the right tools, he could have done it in 45 minutes. And I'm hoping that's the case for me, because that is one thing that I absolutely love about working with PVC is it's like the least complex product to work with.
Totally. Yep.
You
Yep.
put a little-
And it's yep.
You put a little joint glue, whoosh, you make a mistake, cut, go over. No
Yep.
big deal.
And something that's kind of fun with the right composition of PVC, it's very malleable too. You get a weed burner and you just slowly heat it up, and you can get it to twist and bend and do all sorts of fun stuff.
Oh, what's a weed burner?
It's like a propane tank that has a long hose on the end and then like a big cone that shoots fire out the side, out the end of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when I worked for the power company, and we'd put underground power, a lot of times we'd put it in PVC coping, and sometimes you'd have to make a bend or something like that. So you'd heat it up and burn it and back and forth, and then you could get it to twist or bend a little bit. Yeah.
No, kind of the same strategy like what they would do with wood. You get it wet, you get it hot, and then you just kind of bend it a little here and there.
Yep, exactly.
That's how they used to make their compound bows, Trent, in the old
Yes.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, we're bringing you knowledge, folks. We're teaching you new things.
Yeah.
I am gonna stick some of that expanding foam in. I'm gonna cap both ends, but I'm still gonna do that expanding foam too, wherever I can in the runs to try and give it a little more rigidity, if you will.
Yeah. Well, and keep water out. Water gets in there and then freezes.
Yeah, because in California I got a big problem with freezing.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, yeah, very valid point.
Yeah, I don't. Other places, yes. Like I said to somebody the other day, what is this thing I've heard about when people say they close down a pool? What is that?
Why would you ever?
Yeah, I don't understand. It runs and it's just like, well, it's too cold to get into now, so we won't. But what is this you're talking about? And that blew my mind. That you literally, it's like, okay, we're gonna put a bunch of chlorine, turn off the filtration system, throw a lid on it, and then we're not gonna open that bad boy up again until like May of next year.
Yep, for sure.
But if unless you're one of them fancy highfalutin types that can hook a heater up to your pool, which I would never do, because as much as I would love to go swimming in January and then freeze my nuts off getting out,
jumping out and going back.
Yeah, it's so cost prohibitive trying to take that many gallons of water to get them warm.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, unless you do what one guy I saw did, where he basically took a big old steel drum and then put an old copper radiator coil in there, and then you would just throw some logs in and just burn that
Fire it up. Yeah, that would
let the
work.
water go right through.
Yeah.
But I don't want things to explode. Anyway, folks, I think that's really it for this episode. Obviously, I love Spider-Man. We'll be hearing about it next week from Trent, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
It's an amazing time to be alive. I can't believe all the movies that we've still got coming out, because like this year we still have Thor Ragnarok and we still have Justice League, and we got a Star Wars and there's so many movies, and obviously now if The Dark Tower is coming out this year, I cannot wait. I didn't see that's the one thing I didn't notice. When is it coming out? I don't know.
Yeah, is it Christmas or November?
I have no idea.
Me neither.
I really can't confirm anything because I literally don't know. I'm not exaggerating. It's not hyperbole. I just don't know.
No.
There's so much stuff I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We always appreciate your presence and your participation. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm NetHeadWW. He is a part of him. The show is NetHeads on Air. And until next time, we'll be back
soon.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. Signing off.
I know, right? But stop being a little Nancy and deal with it.
NetHeads. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
This has been a production of Smodco Internet Radio. Sir, only at smodcast.com.
I have to say that of any episode we've done, Trent,
yeah,
this one most exemplifies running out of steam really quick. I don't know what happened, but I just it's like I thought I had all this great stuff to talk about with the Spider-Man, and then with the whole Dark Tower trailer being so good, and then literally I just looked at you and I'm like I got nothing. I got nothing, man. Just nothing at all.
Dude, the term running out of steam means that you've either run out of water or you've run out of fire to create the steam. So if that's the case, then maybe we're just dehydrated, Will.
I think that may be it.